Nearly 6 years ago, EA signed a 10-year exclusive contract with Disney to produce and distribute Star Wars games. Do you think they've done a good job with that? Do you think that they've actually been able to craft good content? That they've been able to create a good gaming experience in that time? You're probably like me and thinking, oh God, no. No, God, no, that's terrible. They've done a horrible job. I mean, even though I do enjoy Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 for what they are, what they could have been, far, 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 far better. But apparently, even though they canceled the EA Vancouver / Visceral Games single-player Star Wars game, EA apparently is committed to Star Wars following its cancellation. Right, okay, so EA is committed to Star Wars, never mind the fact that they got rid of the single-player game that was at one point in time being worked on by Amy Hennig, coming off of Uncharted 1 through 3, so massively popular creative director of amazing franchise that's a single player based experience for the most part. And then they've got Jade Raymond, who worked on the first couple Assassin's Creed. Again, single player, non-linear, open world, but still good experiences, especially Assassin's Creed 2. Coming together to work on a linear-based Star Wars experience. That quite literally prints money. That whole thing prints money. But oh no, leave it to EA to find a way to muck it up, right? You know it, I know it. Anyway, it says, despite Star Wars being one of the most adored franchises in all of pop culture, many Star Wars fans feel let down by EA and its contract with Disney. Although the 10-year contract was signed nearly 6 years ago, EA has only released 3 Star Wars games to date, one of which was a mobile game. On top of that, EA's use of microtransactions in Star Wars Battlefront 2 at launch tainted EA's credibility. However, EA claims that it's fully committed to making Star Wars games. Again, this kind of feels like a little bit like battered wife syndrome, if I'm being honest, right? Oh, we're totally committed to creating Star Wars games, and you're going to like it. And there's Star Wars like, I ran into a doorknob. Anyway, following the shocking discovery that EA canceled this open-world Star Wars game, EA wasted no time in providing more information regarding the cancellation. Apparently, the game, codenamed Orca, had too long of a development period, and EA feels its need to ship games at a faster rate. However, no loss of jobs was reported, as the developer has simply been given a new project to work on that EA hopes will be ready to ship in 2020. Good games take time, EA. Good games take time. At this point, we all know that. At this point, we all come to accept that. There are games like Anthem, for example. Anthem, they see, by the way, they talk about this taking too long to release. Anthem, a BioWare property, comes out in just a month, and Anthem has been worked on since Mass Effect 3 in 2012. We're talking 7 years. And that's coming out. And that's going to be a games as a service situation, obviously. But it's coming out. It's coming out. Look at Red Dead Redemption 2. 8 years, 10 studios, and my God, that game is near perfection. Near perfection. A good game is fine to wait for. Gamers are more patient than you think. But I'll tell you who's not patient, EA. Your stockholders. And that's why. That's why you did it. That's why you cut it short. It's not ready. We got to cut the fat somewhere. Never mind. Battlefield 5 is crashing and burning, but let's do something that people actually want and get rid of it. Yeah, seems about right. Now, it says this cancellation of an open world large scale game comes nearly 1 year after EA shut down Visceral Games, which was developing a single player Star Wars title at the time. And the reason why they canceled it is because it was too linear. And now EA's open world replacement title has been canceled in favor of a smaller title, which will most likely be a single-player linear experience. EA's CFO Blake Jorgensen was quoted as saying, people don't like linear titles as much as they did 5 years ago or 10 years ago. In some respects, yes. In some respects, no. I mean, open world single player, yeah, that's where it's at, fine. And they probably want an open world Star Wars game, fine. Single player, I get that, fine. But God of War was heralded as the best game of last year by a lot of different publications, or at least up there as being number 2 right next to Red Dead Redemption. And while God of War is not as linear as point A, point B, rinse, repeat, it was pretty linear in its execution, minus the fact they gave you a hub to go through. You could pick and choose in that particular fashion, but still, when you got there, when you got to your destination, it was pretty damn linear. And now I'm just going to say this, Blake Jorgensen, gamers lost their shit over that game. Because it's a good game. It's a damn good game. So, I'm going to sit there and say, you're wrong. I believe you know you're wrong, and you're just trying to save face. Now, it goes on to say here that although this is only speculation, EA's choice to cancel the Orca game in favor of a smaller, quicker project is likely tied to the rumors that Disney may take away EA's rights to Star Wars. While the two companies do have a formal contract in place, Disney has the ability to withdraw from the contract if it feels that EA has not delivered on what was promised. Well, then, gamers, I believe we kind of know what we got to do. Got to make that push, right? Can we just trade? Can we trade like the EA's rights to Star Wars games and then trade them Rian Johnson? He can go make a game over at EA that's not related to Star Wars. I agree with that speculative point, though. I do. I agree with that point. I think that what they are trying to do is they're trying to find a way to keep themselves in Disney's good graces. Because if you recall, the most disliked post on Reddit of all time is a DICE employee attempting to mitigate the damage from the loot box controversy. Right? That was met with a big uproar. In which case they went back and they fixed it a little bit. Then they kind of went back on that, and it's just a nightmare. Whole thing's a damn nightmare. But that's where we are with this whole situation. Is that yeah, it does feel like EA's got to deliver. They don't own the property outright. This isn't like BioWare, where they can just close the or like Visceral, where they owned Visceral and they closed the studio down because of this. They closed the studio down. And then EA Vancouver was working on something similar, right? Some kind of continuation of that product. And then they canceled that product. But thankfully, no one lost their jobs. I mean, no one lost their jobs this time. The last time, yeah, people lost their jobs. All right? EA is a profit-driven company. That's the whole point of capitalism, and that part I get. They have stockholders. They have, they have people they have to appease. I get that. But you got to sit there and remind these people that when you have a customer base that is not happy with what you're putting out, and your response is to continuously cancel projects that they're excited about, it doesn't necessarily install any kind of confidence. Now, I will say Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order from Respawn does seem interesting. As much as I would like to see Respawn take over the Battlefront IP. I think DICE, for whatever goodwill they had with Battlefield 1, that's gone now. It is. And they're a shadow of their former self. And I have a feeling a lot of that is because of publisher oversight, right? Corporate overhead. Well, we got to add in these loot boxes and these microtransactions and this and that and this thing and the other thing. Make it work. But it takes away from the overall gameplay experience. Plus, you want us to rush it out in 6 months. Get it done. That's what it feels like to me. So hopefully, Disney will in fact take away the rights after Jedi Fallen Order probably ends up selling about as well as Titanfall, which is a shame because Titanfall 2 was an amazing game, is an amazing game. It's been out for 2 years. Weird to think they've done a lot to it. It's still pretty amazing, still a lot of fun, and it deserves a lot more love than EA could ever possibly give it. So with those guys working on a new Star Wars game, that's what I'm excited for, because I think Respawn are the guys that are going to be able to take something like whatever Jedi Fallen Order is going to be, and make it make it that. And I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of comparisons to Jedi Knight 2. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, your thoughts, your opinions, write them down below. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out. Hey, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Since you're here, why don't leave a comment? Let me know what you think about stuff. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you can do that as well. And you check out any of these great, fantastic, amazing commentary tracks by me. That's right. I'm not egotistical or narcissistic at all. I'm just your average, everyday, normal YouTuber. Thanks for watching.